got an amazing story now. Joining us in the studio, Vanessa Mitchell, who went out to buy a house, and Dr. Ciaran O'Keeffe, who is a member of the Society for Physical Research and a senior advisor to the Ghost Club, and it was about ghosts. And this house you bought was in St. Osyth?
Osyth.
Osyth?
Yeah.
In Essex?
Yes.
And it had a history. What was the history for this
Well,
house?
the history was it was used as the old prison in the old days for the witches. The witches were sent there and kept there before they were taken off and tried.
Stop right there, Vanessa. Why did you proceed? Would you have bought, would you have known there was a house full of witches?
I don't think so. Although I'm not terribly superstitious and I'm not a great believer in ghosts, as you know.
But
I think,
why are you saying that for? You're the biggest scaredy cat that ever walked.
No, I don't believe in ghosts.
Well, you do.
No, only when you jump out
Every
cupboards
time we
at
talk
me.
about ghosts, you get frightened, so you do believe in them.
No, I don't. It's just, I don't like spooky stories. But anyway, back to you. So why did you go ahead and buy it when you knew all that?
Because I loved it. It's a beautiful little cottage, and it's got the old prison door, and it's a little slice of English history. And
I mean, you said
stunning.
it was your dream home, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it was. It's pretty, and it's all the history involved in it. And I loved it. I really wanted it.
So it didn't put you off. You weren't spooked knowing.
You didn't have a bad feeling. You didn't have a bad feeling.
I thought it would be haunted, but I had quite an idea because all the local villagers said that it was. I thought there was a chance, but I didn't think it was as bad as it was. No.
So how bad was it?
Well, on a typical day, you'd be sitting there, things would fly across the room, door latches would go up and down the stairs, taps turning on all the time.
Ruth would be gone now. She'd have packed her cases and be living with her mum.
She
would be gone. She'd be gone at this stage.
It was bad. It was very active.
How long did you stay with that and experience that without doing anything about it?
About 3 years I had to stay in there.
3
Well, because you can't, when you buy somewhere, you can't kind of say, oh, I'll move tomorrow. You know, I had a mortgage on it.
But there's a ghost in it.
There was more than one, I think. I saw three ghosts I actually saw physically when I was there.
What sort of things did you see?
I saw 2 men and a woman while I was there.
All separately?
Separately at separate times, yeah. But there was also lots of activity going on the whole time as well. My flatmate Nicole at the time, she lived with me for the first year there. She'd also seen things. And it was when that she left, and then I started getting quiet. You know, it's like, oh no, I'm on my own. And you kind of don't mind if there's someone there. Nicole, did you see that? But it's when you're on your own, it got really bad.
So you actually got used to the ghosts, is what you're saying. You got used to them being around you. What was the point that then made you say, I can't live here anymore?
One day I was doing the ironing downstairs, and my son Jesse was only about 4 or 5 months old. He was upstairs. And then I was downstairs in the cage, which is the prison room, and his toys started going off, and I thought, oh, here we go again. And I thought, anyway, ignore it, don't panic, you know, because sometimes you do get an instant fear. Sometimes in there, it was kind of okay, because it comes with a feeling, it's hard to explain. And then it was a bit of a, you know, I felt quite panicky, the toy. Anyway, I went upstairs with the ironing, and I saw a man standing at the top of the stairs, right next to Jesse's cot. And I thought that was one of the last things, to be honest.
Because he was near your baby?
Yeah, and he had modern-day clothes on. He wasn't... When I'd seen Jack in there, he had was old-fashioned.
Wasn't a burglar or something?
No, Eamon, he wasn't there. He was a ghost. He definitely wasn't a human person.
What do you make of this?
Well, there's just so many different parts to it. Already your reaction when you hear about it being witches, there's that suggestion element. So there's a lot of psychology going on here to start with. Knowing that there are witches, knowing that there are witches hanged there, that's going to prey on your mind anyway. But then there's lots of physical stuff that we're hearing about, things that are moving, interaction, you're actually seeing something. But the problem is there could be lots of alternative explanations for each of these little things. So even seeing something, there could be an explanation for that. And I can't really take anything away from Vanessa's experience because I wasn't there.
And we can share her experience, but we can share because we can show pictures here. Now let's both have a look at this picture. And what do you think you're seeing, and how was this taken?
Well, it was from a spirit photographer, Ron Bowers. He came to the house to have a look, and he took that photo. That was in the spare room. That was Nicole and John's old bedroom. I also used to stay in there, and that was a very, very negative, oppressive room. It was horrible. I mean, the house makes you depressed as well, and it was a horrible house.
And that was typical of what you saw, that image there? Is that
no, I saw a lot clearer. I could see them like I'm seeing you, 3 times.
Almost like a solid person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than the standard sort of photographs we get where they're orbs or it's difficult to make it. There's definitely a figure there, what appears to be a figure. I'd like to actually be there and know when the photograph was taken, what he's actually pointing at. Is the lens clear? Lots of other factors that it could be.
Is the belief that a spirit or a presence can embed itself in a property as opposed to now that Vanessa has moved out, why wouldn't those creatures or those images or those things that she believes she saw follow her?
Well, there's this theory that stone tape theory, for example, that things that happened in a location, highly emotive things, for example, these witches being incarcerated there, their emotion is embedded in the fabric of the actual building, and that it's not going to move on. It's associated with that particular location.
That's why I would never, in my time, I've bought 9 properties. Each one has been new, because I don't want any history
I agree with
at
it,
all.
yeah, I know. I kind of feel like that now.
Yeah?
And I've still got the cage and I love it, but it became, I had to leave with my son. I was a single parent. I've been paying the mortgage for an empty property now for years. You know, people say, why did you leave? There's a very good reason why a normal female with a son and a good job leaves, moves miles and miles away and leaves a house empty. Why would you do it unless you were terrified? And that's
there is
why
one big problem about you coming clean about all of this. How are you going to sell the place? Who's going to buy it now?
Amen, I've tried. I had it up for sale. I didn't even get one person looking. I had a couple of people renting it. They didn't last longer than 3 months.
And so what are you doing? How are you paying them more?
Well, I'm not. Well, my job. I've been skint for years.
And you're actually now opening the doors for other people to come around and have a look and see if they can feel and see what you felt and saw.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I kind of think, after years of owning it, I don't want to sound corny, but the cage wants to talk. I think if they didn't want to be known in there, they wouldn't be so active.
I think there's a legend element to this as well, with Vanessa's initial experiences and then different groups going in and investigating it. Their experiences are building
Vanessa,
upon
I've
that
got 5
initial stuff.
seconds. Your experience, has this left you shaken, frightened, what? How scared are you?
I'm not scared now, but when I left I was terrified and I had to leave.
There's some thought. If you're going out to buy a house, have a think. Back after the news.